Are you finding yourself sad and depressed because every time you try to draw an anime girl, she comes out looking like this? Well, not too long ago, I was in the same boat as you, but I have figured out the recipe, I think, hopefully.
Now, I just was finishing talking to Marcus and
Step out.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to Marcus.
Now get the fuck off my expo chef now!
I originally had plans of making a video relating to my small studies of clothes and their folds, but unfortunately, that video didn't really turn out in the way I wanted it to. The folds ordeal will just have to come further down the line. I did realize while drawing folds that it's quite the jump to start drawing clothes without being confident in drawing faces, which, depending on the type of art you choose to make, one might take far higher priority over the other. For example, I recently found this artist on Twitter and man, do they know how to draw a good fold. But in big majority of their pieces, the characters don't have full face features. Very often they don't have eyes. Regardless, the priority comes from, do you plan on drawing beautiful gowns and tunics first, or cute and pretty faces? And for now, I realized that I take the latter. Before jumping into what I did this week, my background with anime girl faces is basically zero. Although I'm someone that has been through so many phases in my life, I never had an intense anime phase that propelled me into drawing anime style characters. I have watched a bit of anime and I do not play about Death Note and Chainsaw Man, but for someone that has always had friends that were honestly massive weebs, I never gave into peer pressure too much and I was just simply the K-pop girly, okay? I brought the balance. This all changed when I discovered, which is arguably the biggest L in the life of anyone who is a victim, Genshin Impact. I began playing in December 2020 because I saw Kaya, and Genshin brought out something in me that I never had before. There's these cute girls in this game and I really like them and they're so pretty and I want to draw them. In general, I really want to draw my girlies. So all this yapping, how bad were these anime faces I was previously drawing? Some of them weren't terrible per se, but if you know the anatomy of cute girls, you can look at this and see all the flaws lying beneath the surface. At least I can now, and it makes me extra cringe and it's very embarrassing to show this to anyone to see, so please ignore it and don't acknowledge it. I have seriously neglected how to draw faces in the style that I want, even though I know that you can draw the most juicy anatomy known to man. No one will care, if at all, if the face you slapped on it is ugly. So I come here today to put an end to this misery that I'm in. I began freely drawing without looking at references, just a little warm up. And I quickly realized it wasn't a good idea, but it's whatever. I proceeded to gather references on Pinterest and place them on the side, tracing guidelines and then drawing it on my own next to it. You can't see these images on the time-lapse because I added them under a private layer, but refer to the screen right now. Hopefully, you will see all the references I used with the respective artist. When picking these references, I stuck mostly to the 3/4 angle, as that is the angle I'm focusing on in this video. It's also the most commonly used angle by most artists because drawing faces head-on with symmetry can be somewhat uncanny valley. Imagine drawing something that's like very dynamic and there's like clear action going on, and then the face is just staring you down. That's me, by the way, in case you can't tell. So anything I speak of in this video is strictly related to the 3/4 view. Other angles will have other rules and I do not hold myself accountable for them. And then around maybe 2 days later, I went back and I had references. I think I had references for these. I genuinely don't remember, so I apologize. But I finally realized I wasn't gonna get anywhere like this, so I grabbed a few pieces from artists on Twitter and I began breaking it down. And from here, an angel gained its wings. After doing these small breakdowns, I was able to come across some really useful guidelines that I could apply into my drawings. I drew these on my iPad and I think some improvement can begin to be seen, but I think that the important thing that I took away from this is that I wasn't just slapping features on the face as much as before. Then the next day, I drew some more. I don't think these are any good either, but I still think that I'm at a stage where I can draw around 5 faces and maybe one will be something that I think is actually sort of good. But later that day, I had my friend, lifelong anime watcher, manhwa reader, help me out a bit. And she helped me with eye shapes and what makes an eye shape cute or more baddie-like, which is something that I really struggle with because I couldn't help but look at my drawings and feel like everyone had the same same face because I kept giving everyone the same eye shape. But with my friend's help, I think I finally understood how you make a girly truly cute, and thus she was born. Now, is this kind of it? Pretty much. I didn't get to draw a lot more while I also wanted to make this video, but I think that going from whatever the hell this is to this in a relatively short amount of time is enough improvement to keep me motivated, and eventually drawing faces better than these will be like second nature. This is the part where maybe I share tips that I learned that like helped me actually improve. So like I said, if you think that going from this to this as like a little bit of merit to it, and maybe you think I can offer a tip or two that could be useful to you, stay tuned. Hello, it is I from the future. I want to make a small disclaimer that this is not a tutorial, okay? I am just sharing what I did to get unstuck in my art and to actually begin seeing progress. I am not explaining things in too much detail or really breaking down why I'm taking certain steps. It's just small tips if you already have some understanding of the face anatomy. Maybe one day in the future I'll make a proper face tutorial when I'm more confident not only in my drawing skills but also my teaching skills. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of the video. I only knew about the anatomical rules of drawing realistic faces / heads. I believe the most important thing is that anime faces can have the appeal of the overall image take priority over the set structure. As in, something might be a bit anatomically wrong, but if it looks good and you can pass it as, no, like it's supposed to be there, it's supposed to look like that, it's fine, I guess. But I might be wrong, I don't know, but I think that the facial features already being just a cat, which I will dive into, things don't really make a lot of sense to begin with, so fuck it, we ball. The most common way to start drawing a head is with a circle, perhaps even a square. But I'm a circle hater. I am too much of a perfectionist and I will focus on the unimportant details and keep trying until it's perfect. So I've grown to just draw a more oval shape on purpose to keep my sanity intact for the rest of the drawing. And originally I was thinking from the structure of a real skull because skulls are indeed more like deflated circles. But as I went along, I realized that yes, you can draw a circle if you're into that, but this more oval shape can also apply to anime. Even though I am not thinking of skull anatomy per se, what I mean is that the anatomy of an anime head is equally defined by the face shape, the features, and the hair. Now, while this video is not about drawing hair, it is a crucial part of understanding the sheer size of an anime girl's head, and they just have huge craniums with loads of hair. The flow of the hair, the way the hair frames the face, is all of equal importance when creating the appeal. And this is, I assume, why just about every anime girl ever has bangs or side bangs as well. These are crucial elements in the face anatomy itself. So when I draw my broken down deflated circle, I am already sort of taking into consideration the hair. Then the horizontal line will mark the eye placement. I draw this line below the middle line of the circle because big craniums, loads of hair, okay? And the vertical line will mostly mark the middle of the eyes on the face. At a certain angle, the vertical line can also define the chin point, but the more turned the head is, that kind of stops being the case. So I wouldn't say you should rely too much on that, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure. This also leads to say that the closer you draw this line to the outer edge, the more drastic the face turn will be. And once it's fully on the side, you can only go profile. I proceed to then draw this line on the side, and when I do it, I don't think of the outer edge of the initial shape as the actual corner of the face. Okay, I leave a little bit of space because, like I said, the face is equally shaped by the way the hair frames the face, and in this little space, I am thinking of hair framing the face. Crazy stuff. I personally like to begin drawing the eyes first instead of the eye shape. It's just preference. It doesn't matter how you choose to do it. The video might just be a little bit out of order for you. I hope that's not too bad. And while I don't think that I'm too good at drawing eyes, and I don't know exactly what tips I can give you, the most basic ones that I can think of are the following. Basic perspective of the 3/4 angle, independent of whatever style you are drawing. The furthest eye should always appear smaller as it's further away. And this leads to the fact that it's important that you think of the face as a rounded shape when applying the eyes, but also any feature. think 3D, okay? Think how something wraps around the sphere. I could grab a real person reference and be like, real eyes, real lies. But I'ma just persuade you with cute cats, because we are just drawing cats with extra steps. This is not something I'm particularly good at explaining verbally, so I hope the visuals do it justice. Eyes in general are really important. Pretty eyes, captivating eyes, really transform an art piece. And when you started a drawing where the focal point is the face, you're probably staring into the eyes. So making sure the eyes look good is an important step. And I'm still getting there. I initially really struggled with the proportions and how to distance the features from one another. And when I broke down these references, I realized there's sort of a pattern that can really aid you in the beginning, while you're still training your eyes and developing your own style. Basically, you can start by making the space between the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the chin all pretty similar distances. This is easier shown than said, but it was extremely helpful. And if you're just drawing a plain face with not much going on, you're just practicing, I think this is a pretty decent tip. Keep it sort of like proportionate. Don't try to make these spaces too big, okay? Especially if you're trying to draw a cute face, keep them relatively small. So with this in mind, we can place the nose and mouth on the face. In a 3/4 view, the nose point is closer to the furthest eye, so it is beyond the center line. And the mouth is tiny, like ridiculously tiny, and I'm still not used to it. The furthest point of the mouth aligns with the nose, and in some circumstances, the closest point can align with the closest eye. It just depends on how tiny you want to make the mouth, because like I said, tiny. And while the distance from the nose and the chin can be similar, like I mentioned, the mouth is usually a little bit closer to the nose than to the chin. As for the face shape, don't come at me, but I don't really know, man. I don't have many tips to offer on the matter because I don't really know what I'm doing either. I struggle with it still, and I think I'm the one that needs the art tips, to be honest. I kind of just play around with it until it looks good, and the only thing that I know is that like the more cheek puff, the cuter the character, the sharper the angles, the less cute character. That's all I got. That is all I got. The ear is where I feel like what looks best takes priority over the overall structure really comes to shine. It's usually at eye level, right? But does every piece I studied follow that? Not really. Some people draw it closer to the eye, some people draw it further away. And I think that when you introduce a downward or upward angle to the viewpoint of the face, it gets even more confusing. I'm still figuring out what I should be doing. So for now, I have chosen to just cover the ear with hair. Okay, I will take tips on the matter myself because I can't just draw the ear at eyebrow level like a real head. Like that just doesn't transfer well. The neck is still connected to the head, so it will come from the area where the ear is placed, if we know how to do that. And I usually draw the outer line sort of aligned with the closest eye. I also feel like I have to play with the neck placement and size a little bit until it just kind of looks decent, like it's not a bobblehead or she doesn't have a really thick neck. I apologize, this is not my strong suit. This is it, I fear. Okay, I hope I didn't miss any measure points I wanted to initially mention. In the end, what I really learned is that I just have to keep practicing a lot more, okay? And also, I know that not everyone does studies in the same way. I personally like to grab a reference, break it down into simpler steps, then redraw it myself enough times until it makes sense. And then from there, I stop using references and just trying to draw it with my own noggin. I also learned that I have to always remind myself that no one becomes a master artist from a 15-minute YouTube tutorial or art tips like I'm giving you. No one does that. You still have to do the studies yourself, draw the things you want to learn many times, so many times, and then eventually you'll find a way that makes sense for you. Who would have thought that learning art takes a long time? I'm also still developing my own style, although I have many inspirations from various artists. My idea is not to copy them. Obviously, I want to have my own little oomph, my own little thing going on. Eventually, I'll get there. To finish this video off, I want to thank everyone for 100 subscribers. What the hell? Like, epic moment. I didn't think that I would get here with just 2 videos, so it is a little crazy. Thank you so much. This video would have come out a lot faster if I hadn't had not only the Folds video flop, that is a little hard to say, Folds video flop, but also my PC decided to stop turning on for a little while, so I had to get it fixed.
Man, I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear!
Hopefully now my uploads are more frequent. I don't want to jinx myself, but life, man. It gets in the way, okay? My friend also told me that I need to get a proper outro, so goodbye. Thank you for watching. Proper outro now.